Hi friends, this is G Pranit from CSC D section. My topic is the loyal opposition open source Linux and OS hype. Exploring the dynamic of open source, the role of Linux and hype surrounding various operating systems. Introduction to the open source principle. Open source software is software with source code that anyone can inspect, modify and enhance. It is developed in a collaborative public manner. The principle of open source include transparency, collaboration and community driven development. These principles have led to the creation of robust and innovation software solutions. The role of impact of Linux. Linux, an open source operating system, has played a pivotal role in the open source community. It is become the backbone of many systems from servers to mobile device. Linux impact including fostering innovation, providing a stable and secure platform, and supporting a wide range of applications. Its community driven development model has ensured continuous improvement and adaptation to new technology. Comparing Linux with other operating system, for cost, Linux is free while other like Windows and OS are paid. Security, Linux is considered more secure due to its open source nature. Customization, Linux offer great customization option. Support, proprietary OSs offer official support while Linux relies on community support. Hype, hype and reality in operating system. Operating system often come with a lot of hype, promising revolutionary features and unparalleled performance. However, the reality can be different. It's important to critically evaluate these claims and understand the actual benefits and limitations. Linux, for example, is often hyped for its security and customization, while are true, but it also has a stepper learning curve compared to other OSs. The role of Linux in open source. Linux is a cornerstone of the open source movement. It is an open source operating system kernel that has been widely adopted for its stability, security, and flexibility. Linux powers a significant portion of the internet, server, and even mobile devices through Android. Common misconception and hype. Open source is not secure. Linux is only for experts. Open source software is always free. Proprietary software is always better. Comparison with proprietary system. Cost, open source versus proprietary. Flexibility and customization. Support and community. Security and updates. The role of Linux. Linux as a cornerstone of open source. Linux distribution and their impact. Community driven development. Linux is enterprises environment. Loyal opposition in open source. The concept of loyal opposition in open source refers to the presence of critical voices within the community that challenges the state quo while still supporting the overall goals of the momentum. This opposition helps to ensure that project remains innovative and responsive to user needs. It is an virtual part of the open source ecosystem, fostering health debate and continuous improvement. Hype cycle in operating system. Understanding the Gartner hype cycle phase. Innovation trigger peak of inflated expectation throughout disillusionment, slope of enlightenment, plateau of productivity. Examples of operating system in different phases. Impact of hype on user adoption and development. The role and impact of Linux. Linux as a cornerstone of open source will spread adoption in servers, desktop and mobile devices. Community driven development and support. Influence on other open source projects. Hype and reality in operating system. Operating system often come with a lot of hype promising revolutionary features and performance. However, the reality can be different. It is important to critically evaluate these claims and understand the actual benefits and limitations. Open source and proprietary systems. Cost. Open source is generally free. Proprietary systems can be expensive. Flexibility. Open source allow customization. Proprietary systems are more rigid. Support. Proprietary systems often have dedicated support. Open source relies on community support. Security. Open source can be more secure due to transparency. Proprietary system may have undisclosed vulnerabilities. Definition of Definition and history of open source. Open source refers to software with source code that anyone can inspect, modify, and enhance. The history of open source dates back to the early day of computing, with significant milestones including the creation of the GNU project in 1983 and the release of the Linux kernel in 1991. Role of Linux in the open source community. Linux is a cornerstone of the open source community. It is an operating system kernel that has been widely adopted for its stability, security, and flexibility. Linux powers everything from personal computer to servers, and it is a key component in many open source projects. Concept of loyal opposition in open source. The loyal opposition in open source refers to the critical yet supportive role that some community members play. They challenge the status quo, purpose improvement, and ensure that the project remains true to its principle. This opposition is essential for the health and evaluation of open source project. Hype and trends in operating system. The operating system landscape is constantly evolving with new trends and hype cycle emerging regularly. From the rise of containerization and microservices to the increasing popularity of lightweight operating system. Understanding these trends is a crucial for staying ahead in the tech world. Overview of open source software. Open source software is a software with source code that anyone can inspect, modify, and enhance. OSS is often developed in a collaborative public manner. The term originated in the context of software development to designate a specific approach to creating computer program. Open source software is a prominent example of open collaboration. The role of Linux in open source movement. Linux, a Unix-like operating system kernel, is one of the most prominent examples of free and open source software collaboration. The Linux kernel, created by Linus Torvalds, has become the foundation for wide variety of operating systems, collectively known as Linux distribution. These distributions are used in multitude of environments, from personal computer to servers and supercomputers. The concept of loyal opposition in open source. The loyal opposition in open source refers to the critical yet supportive stance that some community members take. They may challenge decision purpose alternatives and push for improvement, all while remaining committed to the project success. This dynamic is crucial for the evaluation and robustness of open source projects, fostering innovation and preventing stagnation. Hype cycle in operating system. Hype cycle describe the pattern of excitement and subsequent disillusionment that often accompanies new technologies in the context of operating system. This can be seen in the initial enthusiasm for new release or features, followed by a period of critical reassessment. Understanding this cycle helps in setting realistic expectation and making informed decision about technology adoption. Some other points of role of Linux in the open source momentum are: The Linux kernel created by Linus Torvalds has become the foundation of wide variety of operating system, collectively known as the Linux distribution. These distributions are used in a multitude of environments from personal computers. Hype cycle describes the pattern of excitement and subsequent dissolution that often accompanies new technology in the context of operating system. This can be seen in an initial enthusiasm for new release or features, followed by a period of critical reassessment. Understanding this cycle helps in setting realistic expectations and making informed decisions about technology adoption. Thank you.